Hey guys, oh my gosh, so welcome back to this channel. I have not been here in absolute ages, like seriously, like maybe nearly like 6 or 7 years or something, maybe like 4 years. I think the last video I posted was about a laptop. I think it was about an Asus G73 laptop repair that I did. But yeah, so I wanted to post just something really quick because I've been working on this project, and anything that's kind of on the tech related end, I tend to want to kind of post about it, but this is something that kind of came to me through trying to do some drop shipping and things like that, trying to start like a small kind of like, I wouldn't really call it necessarily like a full small business, but like a little small like side hustle, for lack of a better term. I think a lot of people use that word. So yeah, it's kind of basically what it's been, is like a little side hustle that started with some drop shipping kind of things. I've done things from trying to buy and resell instruments online and things like that. Did it work out? Can't say no. But it wasn't really as predictable as I'd like it to be. But I wanted to add some tips on here related to basically just some tips I've come across that I've kind of started taking into account on my own, based on trying to buy and sell and then resell some sort of electronics. So I've had some pretty decent luck with iPhones, in particular iPhone 6. Also like gaming laptops, kind of like the newer versions of like the netbooks, or like just the internet browser style, not the Google Chrome kind of laptops, because they're quite limited. But I had some better luck with an Asus version of laptops that pretty much they sell pretty cheap through like Best Buy and Fry's. I think they're nearly like $200. So I had some decent luck with those, and then some decent luck with tablets. I didn't do too good with those. Cell phones, really, people tend to kind of want to talk to you, and they're more interested about buying them. It's a little bit easier to sell them. People can test it. So some things that are definitely recommended, not just by myself, but by people in general who do this. Definitely, you're gonna want to do your research. As much of your research as you can possibly do on your own. Kind of like looking at the area where you're at really is a very important factor. Is it kind of a city? Is it a place where you can actually go places and meet up with people who are potential buyers? Are there places that are open like multiple hours during the week, such as a Starbucks or a McDonald's? Somewhere where they have Wi-Fi is always a good option. Somewhere where they have plugs and outlets. I'd say those are the two things that you kind of want, or someplace where you can sit down in a well-lit public place where there are going to be people and they're not going to be closing. Like if you're doing this after work, after your 9-to-5 job, you don't want to be like, oh, they're going to close at 5:30 and then the buyer's running late, and then you're not going to have any time to sit down and like actually have somebody test the item out. But yeah, definitely having very clear descriptions of what you're selling, and answering any questions to the T, just all the details, knowing the details about your own products that you're selling, knowing as much as you can possibly know, even if you're buying it used, trying to get like a background. What happened? Is there any damage? Did you ever have any problems with this? And trying to let that person that you're first buying the item from know that, hey, like if you even have like a pricing range or method of how you're choosing your pricing, when you're first buying, say, a phone, for example, or any item. But when you're first buying a phone, you're gonna probably want to know, what's the background? What's the history of this phone? Why are they even selling it? Are they selling it because it doesn't work and it's glitchy, or are they selling it because they need the cash, right? So that's one great thing to kind of take into consideration, really, is you want to know why it is that they're getting rid of their phone. Because if it doesn't work, you don't want to buy it and resell it to someone else. You don't want to spend your own funds or your business funds on this item that maybe it won't even work for you, right? I've run into a couple of those where it was like I was in a rush, I didn't want to test it out. So yeah, making sure that you're taking into account all of those things. And sorry, this is just a free-flowing video, just things that are kind of on my mind. I didn't write this down in a specific order, so I know I'm kind of going back and forth, but I think you guys can kind of catch the drift as far as where I'm going with these these kind of tips here. But yeah, paying attention to the item that you're buying, trying to get the info that you need to make sure that you can actually post it properly, testing out your items, definitely inspecting the details, any kind of flaw, any little flaw that you could even consider, okay, if I paid this amount for this item, and say if that was my last amount of money that I was going to spend, would I want this item to have these defects without knowing that they were there? Or if say if I was going to buy an item where I was going to give it as a gift, and you want the description to be proper and very accurate. You don't want to buy a gift for someone and it's like a cell phone and it has a big like diagonal like crack in the middle where nobody even mentioned, hey, it's cracked, or hey, the back is missing like a whole bottom section of it, or the plug doesn't work, or the camera doesn't work, or the touch, I don't know, the touch sensor on the home button doesn't work, or little things like that yeah, it might seem like it's not a big deal, but you got to consider the other person's perspective too. What's their position when they're buying this? Do they just need something for like their 5-year-old to play around with? Or are they really gonna go out of their way to spend their last amount of money, or like a lot of money on something that maybe it's maybe out of their price range, or maybe they're giving this item as a gift? Things like that, where people want it to be in good working condition, good working order, or at least in the condition that you mentioned, as accurately as possible. You want it to be as accurate as possible, because it's important to get good reviews, it's important to get good responses, and it's important to kind of have your money and have your profit excuse me, have your profit from items that you've purchased without actually having to return them, or deal with returns, or deal with, okay, bring it back and I'll refund you, or bring it back and we'll exchange it and test this. It kind of just, it can kind of decrease, just kind of like the whole joy of the whole process, really, for everybody, for yourself and your buyers included. Sorry, it's getting dark in here, guys, but my light is on, but it's not a very bright light, and I'm a very dark person, and my car is very dark, so we're just gonna have to deal. So yeah, that's kind of like the beginning process. You really want to pay close attention. Don't get too much in a rush. I would say if you have limited amount of funds, you really don't want to be spending the last bit of money that you have to try and flip something that may not quite work out. Let me try this as an option here. That didn't help much, but whatever, we're gonna have to deal with this. I should have started the video inside the house, but I didn't. I just decided to start the video outdoors in a parking lot. So yeah, but the beginning process, very important to pay attention to. You want to keep your motivation and morale kind of up, and so the more time you're getting returns, or the more money you're losing, you're gonna get less and less motivated. You want to see the dollars rolling in. You want to see, okay, this works. You want to see the effort that you put in kind of playing out to your own benefit and the benefit of your buyers. You want yourself to get what you want out of it, as well as the other person to get what they're buying. You want the experience to be good. You want the reviews to be good. If you have returning customers or referrals from customers, you want them to be able to just, hey, I got this friend that's also looking for a phone. Like, can I give them your number? Can I give them your Google Voice number? Can I give them your, your contact info or your user name, your profile name? Can they look you up? And like, just word of mouth and things like that is a very helpful thing. So yeah, so how do you want to actually go about looking for products? There are multiple ways to look. I don't know the best, really. I'd say one of the easiest is really placing ads on Craigslist and paying for the actual, just paying for it basically, even if it's like $3, and posting often, a couple times a day, posting with a picture, posting directly what it is that you expect and what you want. Like, so basically it's good to put more information in your advertisement about either your item, or in general if you're buying items or if you're selling something, you want to put more information. So for example, I have like a template that I use for when I'm selling, or sorry, when I'm looking to purchase a used phone that someone else wants to sell me, and then I have a template I use for when I'm actually going to sell the item. And so some things that I have found that are helpful is that you don't want too much of this back and forth with like question after question. If somebody's asking you this and asking you that, and like, oh my gosh, like how many questions? And if you have like a 9-to-5 or another job, you're going to be having to answer questions from like 10 people, and you're like going back and forth with these numbers and having to check your emails. And I mean, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because it means you're getting potential customers, but I got 10% of phone battery left here, so I gotta speed this up. Let me see if I can plug it in actually. But yeah, that's a major thing to really recognize is you really just don't want to have to deal with what's going on. I'm sorry, I think my phone's downloading.